Vishwapashya Purastitam Vrindavanajira Rumakirnam Sanabhyam
Sapadi immediately Eva indeed Abhita on all sides Pasyan looking Disha in the directions Pashyat Lord Brahma saw Purvasthitam situated in front of him Vrindavan Jana Jivyatuma Akirnam dance with trees which were the means of living for the inhabitants Samapriyam and which was equally pleasing in all seasons. Translations and common piece by Grace C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Then, looking in all directions, Lord Brahma immediately saw Vrindavan before him, filled with trees, which were the means of livelihood for the inhabitants, and which were equally pleasing in all seasons. Purport. Jana, Divya, Drumakirna, trees and vegetables are essential, and they give happiness all year round, in all seasons. That is the arrangement in Vrindavan. It's not that in one season the trees are pleasing and in another season not pleasing, but rather they're equally pleasing throughout the seasonal changes. Trees and vegetables provide the real means of livelihood recommended for everyone. Sarva Kama Dukdharmahi. Trees and vegetables, not industry, provide the real means of life. That's Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sapadeva Vita Pasyan Disho Pasyan Prasitam Vrindavanam Janantya Drumakirnam Samapriyam. Then, looking in all directions, Lord Brahma immediately saw Vrindavan before him, filled with trees which were the means of livelihood for the inhabitants and which were equally pleasing in all seasons. So, first of all, I wanted to seek your blessings so I can say something beneficial for everyone. And you couldn't be lost for that portion of this class, alright? If there's anything else. But I just wanted to remind you that today is a very auspicious day. As we know that every day is as auspicious as we make it. And as we know, for Vaishnava, every day is like a holy day in a sense, in a spiritual sense. And here we're reading that Lord Brahma, he was witnessing some kind of changes in Vrindavan. What is interesting is that as we know that Srila Prabhupada, he gave this example of a rose and a man, and he said that just like if there is a rose and a man, and if the man sees the rose and he thinks, well, it's such a beautiful rose, let me take it and give it to my girlfriend or someone else. And Srila Prabhupada said that this is a material conception of life that's material. But then he said, well, if the very same person, when he sees the rose, and if he thinks that, well, it's such a beautiful rose, let me take it and offer it to Krishna. That's transcendental, that's spiritual. And Srila Prabhupada, he explains that things are neutral. I mean, in the sense that they are as spiritual as we make them, and in putting differently, it's a matter of understanding, it's a question of our spiritual consciousness. We can spiritualize everything and everyone. And now, on the other hand, Srila Prabhupada, he has made statements a few times in his books that well, actually everything is spiritual, because everything comes from Brahman, from Krishna, who is the supreme Brahman. And so in that sense, so Srila Prabhupada, he has made it quite clear that in reality everything is spiritual, but that it's our material consciousness that makes things material. So as long as we have spiritual consciousness, we are in the spiritual world. But as soon as this material conception of life, this desire to enjoy, to exploit the material energy, as soon as it comes in, then the whole thing is spoiled, the whole thing becomes material. And because at the end of the day, Krishna is spiritual, and everything that comes from Krishna also is meant for his enjoyment, not for our enjoyment, for Krishna's enjoyment. And therefore it's all spiritual, because nothing can be Krishna, because the material energy is I mean, it's quite a philosophical point. It's not easy to understand it, because on the other hand, Krishna says that there are two energies, my energies, material and spiritual. Well, after all, and this is what Srila Prabhupada, he wanted us to do. He wants us to spiritualize everything we come across, and to Krishnaize all these material things, so that we can actually experience the transcendental reality, which is Krishna consciousness, basically. And so just to kind of reiterate that things are neutral. They're not spiritual in one sense. They're not material, but and it's our consciousness that makes things material or spiritual. Depending on our spiritual realization, we can convert, we can transform things, and material things into spiritual things, and spiritual things into material things. Just for example, if like we say that Krishna's name is transcendental, but Prabhupada said if my body if he tries to chant Krishna's name, it's not Krishna's name, it's material vibration, it's not transcendental, because his consciousness is poisoning the spiritual nature of this substance, which is Krishna's name in this case. And So that's why I said that before that today's very auspicious day, in the sense that it can be very auspicious or inauspicious, or depending on our ability, on our spiritual power, on spiritual hardcore, computers. Anyway, so everything is spiritual in one sense, but in another sense, everything is neutral, because everything is transformed according to our consciousness and according to our desire. That could, which could be material, spiritual. And what is interesting in this particular verse is that Lord Brahma, he saw Vrindavan before him filled with trees, and it looks like, if you look at the Sanskrit, it says Sapaito immediately, and then ever indeed. On all sides, he was looking in all directions, and he saw Vrindavan as he is. So that's another thing, because when we come to Vrindavan, or to when we come to any spiritual thing, we can experience. I mean, usually we experience the external form of that spiritual thing, or as we say, the mind form, which is a kind of reflection. I'm not saying it's in general, it's like a rule. For example, I'll try to kind of shed some light on this topic. So Brahma, he's the most intelligent person, or he's the most significant person, and his body consists of pure intelligence. So he's very intelligent. It's pure intelligence, it's intelligence personified. And he did not really, first he didn't really understand that, he didn't see Vrindavan, he didn't see Vrindavan as he is, as he's supposed to be. And he didn't see the beauty of Vrindavan because he was intoxicated with his pride. He was poisoned by his material qualities. And that's why it said immediately, as soon as Krishna has revealed Vrindavan to him, he was able to see Vrindavan as it is. And so we should take into consideration that it doesn't say, the verse doesn't mention anything about any changes, so nothing was changed. The same place, the same people, the same interaction between them, but there was something different, and that something had made Brahma see Vrindavan in a different light, which was spiritual light, and he saw Vrindavan as he saw Vrindavan connected with Krishna. He saw Vrindavan as a beautiful place where Krishna enjoys himself and his friends. And he saw Vrindavan as a place, the forest, it says the trees. So he danced with trees, which were the means of living for the inhabitants. In that sense, he saw the connection between the inhabitants of Vrindavan and Vrindavan itself, and Krishna as well. So he saw the whole picture, the whole puzzle, the whole thing immediately, just in no time, just because Krishna has given him this revelation, this ability to see Vrindavan. So now, when we come to Vrindavan, not we, but just, I don't know if you've been to Vrindavan, but when we experience Vrindavan the first time, usually what we see is not the real Vrindavan, but the external form, or my Zen people said that my representation, my form of Vrindavan. In a sense, because I'll give you an example. I have a friend, he's a professor, and he specializes in Eastern philosophy, right? And I think it was like 10 years ago, he was telling me, the other day, that one day he decided to set out for India. So he went to India. He went there, and one of his destinations was Vrindavan. And he had read a lot about how it looks like and how many trees and beautiful lakes and swamps and things like bees flying around, fragrant flowers and everything. And then when he came there and he saw nothing, he saw like pigs in the gutter, he saw poverty, he saw dirty streets and no trees, no Radikesh hiding behind bushes, and he was quite puzzled. He was like, well, I mean, and he had read something from Vrindavan Mantra, and I'll later read, to give an example what the real Vrindavan looks like, or how Vrindavan appears to someone who has got this realization, spiritual consciousness. And so that person, the professor, he had read about the beautiful, refreshing breeze in Vrindavan. Well, when he came there, it was like 50 degrees above zero, and he was like burning, and he was like, so in this sense, then I explained to him that actually, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but what you saw was not the real thing. That was a reflection of Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is a person, and we should try to develop this consciousness that everything is personal, everything has a consciousness. With this microphone, for example, I had a friend, and he's trying to. Well, actually, this is natural. It's very natural to have this consciousness to interact with things in a personal way, because we think that this is material, but it's not material. This thing is spiritual, because it's in the temple. It's engaged in Krishna service, and I mean, my friend who was trying to develop that consciousness of treating things in the proper way, in the spiritual way. I think that they're all spiritual, they're all conscious, and they're all Krishna service. Like, for example, in Vrindavan, even if, flowers and the dust of Vrindavan, everything is spiritual. You can make friends with that, with things and those things, and you can, become good friends. You can have relationships with them, which is not possible here in this material world. Because as soon as we transcend, as soon as we go beyond the material conception of life, we'll see so many miracles. We'll see so much that no one has ever seen before, and that's why it said here, Pashyan, looking, and he saw Prabhupada in the translation. He says he saw. So it's very this Sanskrit term pashyati and pashya, it's very relevant. It's used in Bhagavatam many places. For example, second Pashyatam Atmatatam. So when Shukadeva Goswami, he explains that the materially oriented people, they're not able to see the Atma Tattva or the truth. I think it's too. Oh yeah, it's too. It's for you to first text. Can you find it? Can you find the text? It's a second canto, first chapter, text 3 or 4, maybe 2. Anyway, well, in the meantime, So I'd like to read the real how the descriptions of the real Vrindavan, and they're found in the Vrindavan Mantra by Buddha Saraswati. He says that anyone who once smells a flower from Vrindavan, feels the breeze from Vrindavan, sees a person from Vrindavan, once somehow bows down in the direction of Vrindavan, or once pronounces the auspicious name of Vrindavan, even if he dies in Bihar or some other place apart from Vrindavan, will at once attain transcendental abode glorified by the greatest sages. Then he says that in Vrindavan, he says that Sri Vrindavan is planted with numberless transcendental fragrant tulsi trees, by the deity Lord Krishna, with Santana trees and with Harichandra trees, with countless forests of Kapajuma trees. Now Kapajuma refers to a desire tree. So if you go to Vrindavan, you'll find a lot of Kapajuma trees, and they can fulfill all your desires. If you have faith, then so Vrindavan is full of these trees and fragrant flowers, beautiful lakes, and he says that Sri Vrindavan is perfect in every way. Blind fools say there are genuine defects there. I pray that I will not see those fools at the moment of death, because here we can understand that Prabhupada Saraswati and Srila Prabhupada and all the previous acharyas, they could associate, they could experience the real Vrindavan, the real name of Krishna, and the real message of Bhagavatam. Just because we see what we want to see, it's another thing. So, like in one text, in the very same sentence, in the same text, different people will see different things. They will, like some people, there's so many comments in Bhagavad Gita, so many different books explaining Bhagavad Gita, and they're very controversial and very, they're very different, like 100% different. But Srila Prabhupada, he had that ability to see Krishna, that's the quality of pure devotee. He can bring Krishna out of anything and everything. He can squeeze Krishna out of anything and everything, because Krishna is everywhere. He's everywhere. And here, Brahma, although he's the founder, Acharya, Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, he was bewildered because he wanted to give an example. He gave us an example of surrendering into Krishna's lotus feet, because we all have this tendency to become confused and become puzzled and be bewildered. So there's a nice story about Vrindavan Monitor. I don't know if you've read this book, but it's very beautifully composed work. And some time ago, I think it's 200 years ago, when some people, I don't know, some kind of nation, Muslims, I'm sure, they came to Vrindavan, they wanted to destroy Vrindavan, and they wanted to, to leave nothing, in that place. And there was one person who used to be Brahmin. He was converted into, he became Muslim. And although previously he was Brahmin, he was a Brahmin, and he was asked. Then he became like a general of the whole army, and he was requested to destroy Vrindavan at some point, and he went there. He led his army to that place, and he wanted to obliterate Vrindavan, and he didn't, because he saw the inhabitants of Vrindavan, he saw the Babajas, he saw Krishna's devotees in Vrindavan. He changed his mind and he said, no, okay, we'll come here later, so let's come back for now. And then he came back, and then at the same day, at night, he sneaked out of the palace. He had the palace. He sneaked out of the palace and he escaped. He came to Vrindavan again, and then he was like, it said that he was reading Vrindavan monk for many hours every day, and thinking about going Vrindavan. And so he left all his beautiful wives and palaces and wealth and his bank account, and he came to Vrindavan to experience Krishna's beauty. So that's the real wealth of Krishna's beauty. If you can enjoy, if you can see Krishna's beauty, then you're very lucky. Very lucky. Well, it's like nectar, kind of nectar, but not many people are attracted because they're contaminated, integrated this way, but we should purify them. It's why we have this whole class marathons in the year. And to kind of close the conversation, I don't want to take too much precious time. I will start kind of turning slightly. So yeah, again, Lord Brahma immediately saw the beauty of Vrindavan, filled with trees, lakes, mountain peaks, fragrant flowers, and beautiful people, fresh rivers, and etc. And just because he was blessed by Krishna. And turning to a slightly different topic, so Prabhupada, he says Bhagavad Gita that one can 272, yeah, 272. He says that this spiritual consciousness may be attained in no time, within a second, or at the same time, so I think this is contents of the Gita summarized. So Prabhupada says, one can attain Krishna consciousness or divine life at once, within a second, or one may not attain such a state of life even after millions of births. It's only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact. So,
understanding which fact?
Yeah, I think it's explained. Well, he says that Kantvanka Maharaj attained this state of life just a few seconds, no, a few minutes before his death, by surrendering unto Krishna.
This is it.
ago, someone who's situated in transcendental consciousness. Krishna explains in the last section about someone who's situated in transcendental consciousness. In the last few verses he explained the person who's not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean. The person gives up all desires for sense gratification. And then he says that is the way of godly and spiritual attain, that one is not the will of a man is situated, he must be able to death, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So he's saying once one understands this fact that there is no pleasure in the material, he can attain the kingdom of God.
Yeah. But what is interesting is that Prabhupada, he says within seconds. So now that's why I like Krishna consciousness, because you can attain that state of consciousness within this lifetime. You don't have to wait the rest of life, till the day you die, and then you'll be able to see God Himself directly. Now you can see Him today. Right now, right today, in a second, you can see Him directly. Well, as Jain Temple was explaining, nothing is that you can, stand before Him, but looking at Him, but not necessarily. You can't really see Him as He is, because He's covered with His Yoga mind. Because if we have envy, we are envious, we're jealous, then we can't see Krishna as He is. Because Krishna is not revealed to stupid people, to fools. And so we have to become intelligent, like Brahma and Smandra. That's the sign of intelligence. Bhakti. So if you have bhakti, you have everything. If you have no bhakti, you have nothing. It's nothing. So the story of Katwanga Maharaj, who attained, is quite interesting. It means Bhagavatam. When he was the general of the demigods, and he was asked one day to go to heaven and to fight against the demons, and he killed them. He just wiped them out, and then he was congratulated, and then he was offered a special blessing. He said the demigods they said to him, if you want to have anything, any blessing, anything, any boon or whatever, just give us a sign and we'll give it to you right now. And he said, I'll be honest with you. Well, I want to have devotion to Krishna, but if you can't give it to me, if you can't give it to me, I just want to know when I'm going to die, when it's going to be my last month. And then they said, okay, we can't give you devotion to Krishna for some reason, it didn't work out. They said, okay, you've got 12 minutes. And he was like, no. He was like, you should talk, So he had 12 minutes, but, like Maharaj Krishna, he had 7 days. He was lucky, but we don't know. We might have 1 second. Just anything. Like I had friends in Russia, and they brahmacharis. They before the marathon, the Prabhupada's marathon, they wanted to go to one town to distribute books, but they got a new car, great car, very smart, like BMW, and it's donation. And then they were killed. They all died in the car incident. And very advanced, brahmacharis, like great examples. But I mean, even if you're Hare Krishna, it doesn't mean that Krishna said, "I'll protect you." Yeah, but He will definitely, but not necessarily in the way, in your way, in the way you want. he will protect you in His own way. He has His own plans and things. So, and that place is already, taken. He's God. We're not God. We should accept His path and just get on with it. So we can't. We can have plans and things, but we should understand that we will leave when Krishna wants us to go. Then we go. Just go, and we can't say anything. We can't say, okay, wait, Krishna, just wait. I've got something. It's like there's one story when there's one Hare Krishna as well, and he wanted to construct new temple for Krishna, and he was like going around, asking people for donations for charity. Well, then when he people didn't really give much, and he got really disappointed. And then he came to church, to the temple, and then he said, "Oh Krishna, I have a great desire. I want to to build a temple for you, but no money. I've got no money. So what should I do?" And then Krishna, he heard Krishna's voice. And he said, "Listen, it's just a waste of time. Just get out of here. Let him take you back home, back to God." He said, "No. I have this desire. I want to, Krishna, you don't understand. I'm supposed to. I want to be here. It's my place. I want to construct a temple for you." The point is, Krishna was offering him, directly, let's just go, just forget it all, let's just, use this. But then he said, "No, I want to," because we have this, even if we are devoted, Hare Krishnas, we have these desires, and they're really nice. There's nothing wrong with, your desire to have, a beautiful temple for Krishna, just be good, etc. But what I mean is, we should accept Krishna's plan. If Krishna has a plan, we should just accept it, whatever it is. It might not be, it might be against our, will, but just let's be honest. Get on with it. Just get on with it, whatever it is. And so Katvanga, he said, "Take me to Vrindavan." When he saw it, about 10-12 minutes take me to Vrindavan. So he went there, and he left his body in Vrindavan. He went back. That's what he wanted. He wanted to go back, and he went back. So yeah, there's some things trying to close our discussion because I'm going too far with all these stories. So yeah, it's a bit confusing sometimes, but to summarize. Normally there are two forms of spiritual things: the external form, or mind representation or reflection, and real form, real Vrindavan, real Krishna's name, real Bhagavatam, etc. And we can experience that real thing only if Krishna gives us his permission, or his devotee of Krishna's wish. Even if Krishna doesn't want us to become devotee, if Krishna's devotee wants us to become devotee, we will become devotee of Krishna. And that's why it's so beneficial. Just stick around, be here, come here, and try to serve all these wonderful devotees, and we'll see, let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens. You'll see so many miracles, so many. If you chant Krishna's name, you'll see so many miracles in your life. Every day will be like a miracle, like a holiday. People are struggling now because Christmas holidays are over. Now it's time to go back. Well, but if you're Hare Krishna, you can have a holiday every day. So it's up to you. Depends on your honesty and your sincerity. Okay, Hare Krishna. I want to apologize for everything. And yes, if you have a question.
You said spiritual form and mind's form, or
Mind. It's not mind time. It's angel time.
What?
Mind. It's like
mic form.
Mind. Yeah, sorry. Reflection. The mind representation. Illusory form. It's like Krishna's name. If you chant Krishna's name, like Nama Prabhat, it's not Krishna's name, as you know. It's the illusory form of Krishna, because all it can give you is bhakti.
I have a problem with the word. Was it mic form?
Sorry?
M-A-Y? I see. What magic for the word?
Yeah, so, because Krishna's name, Vrindavan, everything related to Krishna appears as in this way for Mayavadis, materialists, and people who are poisoned with material consciousness. And to the devotees, Krishna reveals his will, his true form, his true name, his true abode, etc., etc. That's the point. That's why it's not possible to understand Krishna unless we have, surrendered unto him, unless we have some shelter, Prabhupada's shelter. He's great devotee. Krishna is a great devotee, just like Prabhupada or his disciples. But yeah, so that's why it's so relevant to be careful and to be thoughtful as well of what we're doing. Okay, so I don't want to waste time. I want to thank you for your kind choice to come here to listen, to hear something. So yeah, wish you Happy New Year, Christmas New Year. So okay, Vishwadameshwara ki jai, Radikesh Guru ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guru, for very nice class, bringing us to Vrindavan and back. So doesn't seem like there's any scores from the street yesterday or from the restaurant, just from the shop. So in Krishna's Transcendental Community Shop, we distributed 13 books and collected 376 luxury points. Transcendental shopping key. So we just need some service on the other side, the Surf Prasada. 1, 2, 3, click. We need some service on the Prabhu side, the Surf Prasada. 1, 2. Okay, thank you. You also need some volunteers to clean the temple room. Okay, it's one show. We just say our prayer then. Dear Shri Shri Radha Nandinishvara, Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, Shri Shri Gauranta and Giri Govardhan, we offer our most respectful obeisances unto you. With a mood of deep gratitude and appreciation, we request your causeless mercy upon us. For your pleasure, we are endeavouring to distribute the books of your pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, to the fallen conditioned souls of London. Please enable us to cooperate together in a mood of selfless service, in order to maintain and increase our efforts. Please send more devotees to assist us in bringing many new souls to your lotus feet. We, your surrendered servants, humbly beg. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki